My first Q4 as an Amazon arbitrage seller, I made over $50,000 profit in a single month. And last Q4, I made over $80,000 profit in a single month. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through what types of products you should be sourcing during Q4. And I also wanna mention, if you're looking for direct access to me, weekly coaching calls, all my coupons, tips, tricks, and strategies to be as prepared as possible to absolutely smash past your Q4 goals, now is the perfect time to apply for my coaching program at the link in the description. This is a pretty important video because there's so much misinformation and confusion out there from a lot of you guys, because for a lot of you guys, this is your first Q4, your first December, your first big rush, and you're nervous, you're confused on how things should operate, and I wanna spit some free game basically in terms of what's been useful for me and other people I've seen have great results, right? So ultimately, what product should you be buying for Q4? That is the million-dollar question, right? You're either a beginner where you need to scrap, claw, and fight your way to get the momentum building, right? Or you're already getting sales and want the next ticket to the moon, right? So how do we operate in both of those cases, right? If you're a beginner, I want you super nice, starting small, low risk. You're hunting for proof of concept right now. If you're someone where you've already been selling for 6 months or a year or 2 years and you're looking for massive growth, I want to really show you how incredibly doable it is to see that this coming December and be completely ready for that, right? Selling $100,000 in revenue and $20,000 in profit is very doable for a lot of people with a bunch of consistent effort. And it's a lot more simple than you think it is, right? I did 3 times this my first December without any type of plan, direction, or any videos like this, right? It's important to note that the answer to a lot of your issues with this stuff is incredibly simple, right? If you can consistently buy good inventory, whether it's your first Q4, your 5th, whether it's your first month or your 5th, you will see good results, right? Because what you're good at during December is just gonna be completely magnified, right? So if you're putting in good, consistent effort, you're gonna see really, really good results. It's important to note that the 80-20 rule is such a big thing, right? The majority of your results are gonna come from a small subset of inputs, right? So what does that mean for arbitrage sellers, right? That means one of your sourcing methods is gonna produce the majority of the results, right? A couple of your websites, a couple of your suppliers are gonna produce the majority of the results, right? That's a big issue beginners run into, is they think that people doing 100 grand in revenue or 200 grand a month in revenue are buying from 50 different websites, and that's completely not the case. Typically, the answer to that is that people are just buying from a few websites for the majority of their results that are bulk friendly, have good discounts, have high stock counts of different products, and that's where they see the majority of their results. Like for example, some of you guys know Eastbay, which used to be a thing. It was owned by Foot Locker and Champs. Like my first December, I did like over 20K in profit just from there. So that was one website, 20K in profit, right? And I've seen people do like 50K profit on less than 20 core ASINs right there. So it's really important to understand that the majority or the minority of your inputs are gonna produce the majority of your results. But the key is that finding that is built through a ton of small test orders, trying a bunch of stuff, putting in a bunch of concerted effort between now and December. I also want to mention, for any of you guys who have 9-to-5s, I've been getting, and I can't believe I didn't address this in the past, the best time to take off, if you are gonna take off any time in December, is gonna be between the 5th and the 15th. Those are the best days of the year for merchant fulfilled sales. Now, the best days you're gonna have are gonna be entirely based on the inventory you have in stock, when you have your best inventory in stock. But it's important that, you know, you're gonna figure out ways to get these orders to fulfill if this is important to you, right? So I want you to get that momentum building as quick as possible, and it's gonna be easiest to do that the earlier half of that December, so like December 5th to 10th, basically. So if you can take days off from your 9-to-5, that is when I would do it. But either way, if there were ever a time to get a little bit less sleep, do the extra work, driving to do the retail arbitrage pickup orders, take that extra trip to the outlets, it's gonna be there in December, and if this is important to you, you'll make it happen right there. Now, it's also important to note, during December, wealth is built by replenishing products, right? The first order isn't the important one, right? It's insanely easy to find stuff. During Black Friday, everything's discounted, stuff selling for more expensive. On Amazon, it's selling quicker, you're buying it cheaper. But the key is that the major money is made with this stuff, guys, is during the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th orders, right? Therefore, you need to maximize your proof of concept as quick as possible, and proof of concept is found via test orders and FBMing products with 0-day handling time and competitive repricing. Any of you guys watching this that have above 10 ASINs in your storefront, it's time to get a repricer set up. I have an affiliate link for BQL, which is the repricer I use, as well as a tutorial in the description. If you do need to get a repricer set up, which everyone should have once you have like 10 plus ASINs, you're losing money if you don't. And FBM products is an incredibly advantageous thing to do. I wouldn't recommend FBAing products after December 1st just because you're not gonna be able to have time for those to check in FBA, so you're gonna wanna FBM stuff, and then it's gonna be incredibly easy to get the Buybox FBM. To start, it makes sense if you're worried about getting the Buybox FBM to move your shipping settings to 0-day handling time. During December, you're gonna be in 2-day handling time just because it's so easy to get the Buybox, and you're hopefully gonna have so many orders you're not able to fulfill all of them with 0-day handling time. Right there, it's just incredibly important, guys. Right, the answer is far more simple than you think. Like, a few good ASINs can completely change your life, right? Focus is the most profitable stuff right here. Okay, so finding unlimited Q4 leads is actually incredibly easy, right? Let's hop over to Amazon and take a look at what that looks like. The nice thing, guys, is utilizing SellerAmp and Keepa data, you can see past performance on any product, right? So for example, if we scroll down here, right, and we look at the Keepa chart on this item, we can see it's pretty stable. But if we look at the year-long chart, we can see that last year, on November 20th, there were 67 sellers, right? And then a month later, there were like 18 sellers, and the price was, it went from 52 all the way up to 70, right? So that's the difference between a lot of stuff being profitable and not being profitable. Same exact thing with this pair of Nike pants right here. If we scroll down the Keepa chart and go to the year long right here, we can see that it was $44 on November 13th, and then the buy box was $67 on December 13th. So there was clearly a huge margin added in there, and you're buying stuff cheaper than you ever can during Black Friday. Right, so what you can do is you can easily, as you're doing product research on your own, find tons of examples of leads like this that did well during Q4. Don't buy them and speculate that they'll go up again, but what you can do is you can scroll down here on SellerAmp and nicely one-click export this out and hit Q4 leads example right here, and now that automatically adds that ASIN over to this spreadsheet right here. So the type of products you want to be buying is stuff that's giftable. Beauty, toys, sporting goods, clothing, shoes, stuff like that. Really anything that's giftable, but the data is gonna tell you that, right? You shouldn't be hunting for specific types of products. You should be hunting for specific data, right? So for example, as you're doing product research, you're gonna come across stuff all the time that went to the moon last Q4, get that nicely cataloged on a SellerAmp spreadsheet on there, and then you can easily have a huge database of listings to go ahead and look for once Black Friday and December rolls around to see if that stuff's performing well again, right? And so you can just set those up on selleramp.com right there. So you definitely shouldn't be focusing on toys. That's a major, major myth. Don't deviate focus. Do what you already do now, right? That stuff's just gonna be magnified in December, right? So definitely don't worry about toys and stuff if you don't already know that. There's gonna be huge toy bolos every year. We can see this was the one back a couple years ago. We can see this legit is on sale on Amazon for 15 bucks currently, right? And we can see a couple years ago, it went as high as like 84 bucks, right? So leveraging SellerAmp and Keepa data, you can see the performance of stuff all the time, right? So do not worry about toys unless you already sell toys. And sure, if you set things up correctly, you're gonna be finding leads like crazy just off of existing in the community, but focus on your core, what you already do, and if you don't already know what you already do, find that between now and then, right? In terms of operating sourcing-wise methodology, right? So manual sourcing, going directly on a website, you only wanna be doing this during Black Friday and when your favorite websites have deals going on, right? And if you don't know your favorite websites yet, you need to do more reverse sourcing, which is looking inside other sellers' catalogs, right there, which is consistent, especially when you start seeing the same sellers on your listings again and again. Some people talk about doing Amazon to Amazon, which I'm not a fan of. It's risky just because Amazon might restock, and then Amazon changes their rules in terms of like having non-prime business accounts sometimes, so that makes me a little suspect as well. Another incredibly good sourcing method for Q4 is on these listings that went to the moon. This is like some crazy sauce. Right, if you go to the Buybox Stats on Keepa, right here, so data and then Buybox Stats right here, right? And then you go to the 365-day data, right? So now we can see who's gotten the buy box at what price over what time frame, and we can filter top to bottom. We can see who got the buy box most expensive in the last year, which subsequently on these products is typically during December. And then those are the people that are really smart that executed on the stuff incredibly well last year, right? So now you can storefront stock those people because they probably did great last year and they're probably gonna do great this year again. So utilizing that method of storefront stocking with the Buybox Stats is incredibly helpful as well right there. It's important, guys, please don't overthink this stuff. The answer is very simple. You need to find a couple good ASINs and you need to squeeze those to the moon. You're gonna find those good ASINs via a lot of testing, and that testing is gonna happen in the next 60 days leading up to Black Friday, and then your major money is gonna be made replenishing products in December. You're not really gonna need to do a bunch of fancy sourcing during December. If you do things right, it's just gonna be managing, tracking, repricing different ASINs right there. So your checklist, get better at sourcing, get a repricer going. I'm gonna leave a link to my full Q4 guide in the description as well. It's a little Google Doc that walks through all of this stuff. Right here, this is what you should be sourcing, how you should be thinking about executing on Q4 product research, and I will see you guys in the live streams and the next video.